You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, I didn't see a whole lot going on in, like political news or anything about Trump or nothing like that. Only that, the courts are still trying to fight him on deporting, criminal aliens. And they know that they're in the wrong, but they're doing it anyway. It's unconstitutional. That's already been proven. But whatever, I think Trump should just go ahead and do it. There's no way they can do individual cases. It'd never get done. They have to do it, like a oversweep or a blanket. They have to do the process, with a bunch of them together and then just deport them all. Anyways, they're still going on about the tariffs, but China will eventually bend the knee. They have to. They got to sell their goods, and the only market they got for that is America. So people think he's going to try to save face, and that Chi dude or whatever. No, he'll bend the knee. As far as, movies and stuff like that, films or TV shows, anything new I've seen, we all know about nobody's going to watch the new Harry Potter series. It's not going to happen. Not if they keep doing the DEI crap. No one wants to see a black snake. Nobody. Not even the black community. So they're idiots. They're idiots for telling everybody that they're going to do an all-feminist reboot of Chronicles of Narnia with a woman playing Aslan, the lion. That's just dumb. They know better than that shit, but they're going to try to do it anyway. They don't want to make any money. They're idiots. I saw that they're doing a Beetlejuice 3, which I don't know why. The last one was absolutely terrible. They cut out the father. Even if I think the actor died, I'm not sure, but they could have put someone else as the father, and it should have been her son, not her daughter. But no, they got to go with the feminist woke crap. And it was literally the same story as the first one. Beetlejuice was trying to marry the girl. It's so dumb. It's literally the same story. Let's see. Moving on. What else did I see that they're doing? Oh, apparently Kevin Bacon is going to come back and do a reboot of the Tremors franchise. The first Tremors was okay. I liked it. It was cheesy, it was goofy, it was good. The rest of the sequels were terrible. I couldn't watch them. They were just so bad. What else? Oh, Carl Urban. I think that's how you pronounce Carl Urban is how you pronounce his name. The guy who played Bones for the new Star Trek movies. or Dr. McCoy or whatever. He's going to reprise his role as Judge Dredd, and they're going to do a television series of Judge Dredd. Now, the problem is, I like Carl Urban as an actor. He's a good actor. I did not like that movie he did, though. The last Judge Dredd movie. It was terrible. They didn't even show his face. And it was literally a copy of a previous B-rated movie where they're going around killing people, in an apartment building trying to get up to the top floor where there's a bunch of, drug lords. It's literally the same thing. It's the same movie. They copied a B-rated movie that did the same thing and called it Judge Dredd. It's so dumb. It was dumb. It was a terrible, terrible movie. I don't give a flying fuck who liked it. You can like it. I don't care. That's just my opinion. It was absolutely trash. I did not like it. It sucked. That's not Judge Dredd. Now, the Stallone version, I liked the Stallone version. It was great. It had some comedy in it, and some action, It was a good story. I liked the Stallone version. I don't know why they didn't continue with that. It was a good movie. But anyways, moving on. The last thing I saw was I saw on I still call it Twitter. So, it's X, but I still call it Twitter. But anyways, I saw Lou Diamond Phillips post that they're getting ready to start filming Young Guns 3. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? All you guys are like 80 years old. How the fuck are you doing a Young Guns 3? You're practically in the ground. No offense to them, they're all good actors. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? You will wait like 30 years to fucking do another Young Guns? You're not, none of you are young anymore. What the hell? I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's going to suck because it's going to be a reboot or remake or whatever the fuck it's going to be. It's not going to work. But they're going to try anyway. Whatever.
So as I've said before, even if you don't watch the channel regularly, you've only seen a couple videos or you don't watch it at all, it only takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. It doesn't affect you or your channel whatsoever. It just helps this channel grow. So please subscribe. Also, I have another channel. It's called Easy Does It. The link is in the About section. Check it out if you like gaming vlogs and reviews and reactions to other YouTube channels. Okay. Again, subscribe.
Okay, let's get to what I really want to talk to you about this week. I just got done not long ago watching a television series called Jeremiah. Now, this was done in the 90s. It had or early 2000. I didn't look it up, but it was an HBO, or not HBO, Showtime series. But it only lasted like a couple of seasons. It didn't last very long. It starred Luke Perry, and yes, I know, the guy from 90210. And Jamal Warner. Now, they're both decent actors. Nothing wrong with that. This was also a Canadian production. A lot of Canadian shows, they're okay. They're not the same grade as an American show. American shows are way better. But anyways, regardless of that, the show centers on the fact that there was this virus that killed all the adults or anyone that was past puberty. This virus wiped them all out, or supposedly wiped them all out. And it's been many years, because both these guys they're practically around 30 years old, or better, you know. They're somewhere in their 30s, and you know, so it's been a long time. And he's supposed to be looking for his daddy. Throughout the entire series, he's looking for his daddy. His daddy, just coincidentally, you find out later, he's the one who created the virus with some other dude. They're the two that created the virus. It just coincidental, whatever. I mean, you find out at the beginning of the show that his dad worked for the government, but whatever. Anyways, all hell breaks loose when the virus comes about. You get flashbacks. Luke Perry is, you know, just before puberty. You know, him and his younger brother, you get flashbacks of them a few times in the show. But his dad and his mom had to take off for whatever reason. And he told him to find, I can't remember the name of the place, but he told him to find a certain place. If something should happen, they get separated. Because there were riots and everything else going on. But if they had to go get something for the family, and he left him in charge to take care of his younger brother, which made no sense. So the parents leave him. They never come back. They grow up in this dystopian world, or apocalyptic world, where all the kids are running everything. At the beginning of the show, you get Jamal Warner. He basically, you know, he tries to steal a bunch of crap from Luke Perry, like food and shit like that. And that's how they become buddies or whatever. They help each other after that, you know, for whatever reason. Jamal's character don't remember anything that happened from the past, but later you find out that he actually does remember a few things. It's just he was getting like tidbits of memory. Anyways, moving on. The first season wasn't bad, but then the second season got really off. Now you're trying to, the main guy who owns the bunker that they find this bunker and these people in this bunker who are survivors of the virus, but they were all young when it happened. Like, there's no adults left. I mean, you later find out that not all the adults died off either. There was a military group that survived the virus in a different bunker. Apparently there's several bunkers throughout the United States, military bunkers, and they're all somehow connected. They eventually figure out how to connect them all, that kind of thing. But now they're fighting the adult group, but eventually they wipe them out. There's this Sean Austin comes in to the second season. and he plays like this guy who supposedly he talks to God or some shit, and God's telling him, you know, he should stick with Luke Perry because he's like the savior of the world or some shit. And it just gets really weird.
You know who I am?
Anything
Yeah.
you say. Anything.
They kind of end it with fighting this other group that's trying to take control of everything, who was originally a part of the underground bunker where his dad's from. He does meet his dad. He does find him. So yeah, he eventually does find his dad from that underground bunker group of the living adults. Like I said, they eventually get all wiped out by a woman that the guy from the bunker they worked for, he's been keeping a woman that was from the original group before everything went down. She was carrying the virus, and they were going to use her to try to come up with some cure or vaccine, but that never turned out. She went over there and killed them all, and then killed herself. But anyways, yeah, like towards the end, they were fighting this other group that was a part of the original bunker that his dad was from, and then they used a fake persona, like they created like this leader who wasn't even real. They were like a group of psychologists or some shit like that. Anyways, they all get their indues towards the end. They kill a bunch of people on both sides, and then that's pretty much the end of the show. You know, they kind of left it off. They didn't really finish it, so it was the second season just kind of sucked. The first season was decent. I liked it, even though it was cheesy. It was cheesy, you know, 90s cheese. But the first season was good, even though it, you know, some people do not like Luke Perry because he starred in 90210. He even brought Brandon on there for one or two episodes. He was like some nut job, militant nut job who wanted to control the world, and they end up killing him. But I still think he's a decent actor. You know, he's, even though he will, that stain will always be with him that he was on that show, one of the worst television shows, soap opera BS. But anyways, the show was actually, like I said, it was pretty good on the first season. I was kind of getting into it, but that second season was just, when they brought Sean Austin's character in, you know, I don't know, and then that other rebel group, you know, I could have gotten down with another, you know, a couple, you know, factions that were running around trying to take over everything, you know. I could have gotten down with that, but the Sean Austin character was just dumb. They didn't need him. And then the one that was really, I mean, super cringe was the little tiny black girl who was supposed to be like this boss lord or some shit over this huge village or whatever. That was super cringe. That was the worst character in the whole show. And then there is one episode that I thought was kind of cringe. I could have gotten back with it, you know. You know, I get it. but there was one episode where it was this all black group running everything. I don't know, like they didn't allow white people at all or any other race. I kind of found that one a little bit iffy, but I kind of understand, in a post-apocalyptic world, there might be a group that comes out like the Black Panthers or some shit, a militant group like that. That wouldn't surprise me. So I was okay with it for the most part, but it was a little cringy too. But anyways, other than that, the show would have been way better if they went a different direction, but they didn't, and I think that's why the show ended. Check it out if you want. I give a thumbs up, thumbs down. Wasn't bad. It could have been better. Let's get on to your B movie reviews. Now, Movieholics, this week is Horror Week. And we went with a couple of horror comedies this round. You find a lot of genres mixed in with others a lot of times. The first one we went with is called Dark Angel: The Ascent. It was done in 1994. There was no box office numbers. It went straight to video. This is a Full Moon production, which I liked Full Moon stuff, even though they were cheesy. Did cheesy B-rated movies. It was one of the better ones. This starred Daniel McKell and Angela Featherstone. Basically, it's, I don't know, Angela plays this demon, and for whatever reason, she doesn't want to stay in hell. She wants to explore Earth. So she comes up from the underground to explore Earth. She runs into a doctor who helps her out and becomes like a love interest for her. She's going around killing people or committing sins. She believes judgment for all sins is basically death, and she's going around killing people who's committing sins. Well, the cops get involved and all this other stuff, but eventually she's told, or she gets hurt, and she's told she's got to go back to the River Styx to heal herself, which she does. And at the end of the movie, she comes back to the doctor from hell or whatever, and I guess they live happily ever after, I guess. But yeah, That's pretty much the end of the movie. You see this like flame in the mirror, and she, poof, she's there. She kisses him. That's the end. It was kind of strange. It was weird and bizarre. It reminded me of something like, My Date with an Angel or My Demon Lover, if you remember those two movies from like the 80s and 90s. It's pretty much the same premises. It's okay. It was worth a one-time watch. It wasn't the greatest of movies, but it was alright. I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. Like I said, worth a one-time watch. The next movie I watched is called Highway to Hell. It was done in 1991. Made about $8 million. Starred Chad Lowe and Christy Swanson. Now basically, out in the middle of nowhere, they're heading for Vegas. Out in the middle of nowhere, there's two trees, and in between the two trees is a dimensional portal that can take them to hell. They run across what's called the Hell Cop, and he takes Christy Swanson's character to hell because he's going to deliver her to Beelzebub, which is Satan. There's an old man at the beginning of the road who tells Chad Lowe's character, about the portal to hell and about the Hell Cop. He lost his girlfriend back in the day, like in the 50s or some shit like that, to him. So he gives him a special gun, some special bullets or some shit. So he goes to hell looking for his girlfriend. Chad Lowe does. The old man gives him a souped up like ZZ Top car too. It's just all white. Anyway, he goes to hell. He sees the old girlfriend of the old man, and she's still young. And she tries to tell him he needs to leave hell and just forget about his girlfriend, but he refuses to do so. He meets Beelzebub. Beelzebub is like, I don't know, like some cowboy looking dude, and he tells him, he's the Mr. Fix-It man. He fixes everything down there. He doesn't realize who he really is till later on. He fights the Hell Cop a couple of times, and eventually, towards the end, Beelzebub makes a deal with him and tells him, if you want to leave hell with her, you have to race the Hell Cop. If you win, you get to leave, both of you. So he does, and he wins, and he takes off with him. But he also takes some little boy that Beelzebub was keeping too. Takes him with him as well. That's pretty much the end of the movie. It's one of those really weird, strange comedies, but it's a good movie. I like it. It's one of my favorites as far as bizarre shit goes. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Check it out. You do get some cameos by Jerry and Ben Stiller. The late Gilford Godfrey's does a cameo in this. There's a couple other cameos, but like I said, it's a good movie, good horror comedy. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. Okay, so that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your comments or leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you have any recommendations, if you can think of any super B-rated movies you think I've never even heard of, or underrated movies, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.